What's up guys, Antonio here at DPR, and this week we're going to go over how we ship in Canada, and the same principles applies in the USA or pretty much everywhere else. If you're ready, let's jump right into that. So basically, if you're serious about breeding ball pythons, at some point you will have to sell your babies, and realistically you won't be able to drive them all down to their new families. At some point you'll have to learn how to ship some animals. We do ship almost weekly, and we've shipped to many different countries, but the principle within your country, so everything that doesn't involve international shipping, are very easy. But the principles about shipping inside of your own country, so it's not about international shipping, are very simple, and it's super easy to get it right. But there's a few things that needs to be said and a few things that you need to avoid in order to be sure that your shipping is going to go very smoothly. So the very first thing you want to ensure is to have a healthy animal that is not full of food. Thing is, this female here, pastel and she leopard yellow belly head clown, she's in shed. That's really not a problem. We do ship some animals while they're in shed. That's really not a big deal. But the three very important things you don't want to forget and you want to make sure when you ship a snake are: you want to be sure that animal is extremely healthy and is not slacking on food. It's not an animal that's thin or weak that maybe wouldn't survive the shipping. Then you want to have an animal that had access to water the days before, because you don't want to ship a snake that would be dehydrated, because obviously if that shipping is 24 to 36 hours, it won't have access to water. So this animal needs to be very well hydrated before, and you want to be sure that it has an empty digestive tract. You don't want an animal that's about to poop, that's bursting, it's super big. Or let's say you fed your snakes 2 days ago and it has a big pup, a big wean. You don't want to ship an animal like that, because the temperatures are going to change, and so the digestive process of the animals. The reptiles are cold-blooded, so they don't really control their body temperature. Actually, don't at all control their body temperature. So if the environment is not proper for them to function, so to digest, that might cause a lot of issues. So you really want to avoid those three things. Then when it comes to packing your animal, you'll have two choices. You either have the bags or the daily containers. We only swear by the daily containers for animals that are actually possible to fit in. Some very large females, we have to go with bags. But the reason why we prioritize daily containers is for the space you have inside. And the thing is, with a bag, the animal can have a lot of space. But the thing is, if the animal pees inside of the bag, it will make it completely wet, and breathing through wet clothes, it's very difficult. So that's the reason why that's one of the reasons why we want to avoid bags versus cups. Everything we can in cups is always preferable. And often when you see a lot of snakes packed inside of bags in a box, and there's, let's say, one big animal and some very small one, some small animals can get crushed. It happened before. And if the big snake peed and completely wets the entire box and crush some animal, it can kill very easily a lot of snakes by just one animal peeing and drenching in pee and urine the other bags inside of a shipment. So that is the main reason why we use cups, and cups as well. You want to take a cup that the animal doesn't feel extremely squish in it. Like if you see here, the snake has a lot of place to move. If he pisses there, you have that substrate that's going to absorb everything, so that's going to stay in one place, and the animal there is not completely squished. You will see sometimes some people sending snakes, like a snake like this, in a 16-ounce container, and the snake is basically curled up in a ball, extremely tight. If it pisses or poo, it's going to get stuck there. The amount of air inside of the container is going to be useless. So we ship in containers that allow the snake to have a lot of air inside, and if anything happens, the snake has some space. Then, and also very important thing, during shipping, sometimes in FedEx, they move the boxes around. So you don't want your snake to go and be able to bump too much inside of the bin. That is actually perfect because there's enough substrate. The other thing is, I don't know if you see it there, but you have holes for air. So just basic small holes like that is going to be absolutely perfect for your snakes. So that is really why we use cups over bags. And there's so many things that can go wrong with bags. Like you have a bag like this here. You can can go a little higher. You have a bag like this here, you put your animal there, and you're gonna tie your knot all the way at the bottom. It goes back to putting your snake in a very, very small container. If you do put your snake in a bag, which can be fine, you want to tie the knot all the way to the top so the snake has all the space to move. If it pees there and this part gets wet, it can always go there and breathe over there. So this is very, very important. The other thing inside of your bag, you want to put substrate. So here there's absolutely nothing, and here there's absolutely nothing. So if basically the snake pees in there, it's the bag that's going to absorb everything. If you put some of that substrate, just a little bit, it won't absorb too much. So you'd rather be safe than sorry there. Just put a bunch of substrate at the bottom of the bag and put your snake, tie it all the way to the top so it has a lot of space to move. And also, very, very important thing, if you ship multiple animals inside of the box, don't overcrowd your box. We're going to go over that right after, but you really want to avoid putting too many bags near each other, especially if you have different sizes of snake, because a bigger snake can absolutely cause very big injuries to a smaller one. So you really have to be considerate regarding this. So when it comes to the actual packaging inside, we use always the same process. We're gonna put a layer of insulation foam at the bottom, and this, well, like, we already have that styrofoam there, but we do put that extra one to really ensure to keep from extreme temperatures outside of the box, and so that we have something that's very even inside of our shipping box. Then we're going to put a layer of paper. That layer of paper often is used to absorb like any over excess pee from bags or whatnot, but we do use it also to isolate that foam from the cup, so there's no foam that's going to go inside of the holes of the cup. So this is basically like the base that we do for every shipment, and then we place our animal, you know, in one side, and we're gonna put a egg crate on the other to be sure that that animal doesn't move during shipment. So like this here, if the snake moves during shipping, because it will happen, it's not gonna bang around loose inside of that box. It has something there to stop it and make sure that your animal is gonna stay in one place. Right now it's the summertime, it's pretty hot here. We don't need any heat packs or cryo packs. The temperature is very, very bearable for the animals. It's actually a perfect temperature to ship. You want to be extremely cautious when it comes to shipping with the temperatures. It's important to think about your animal. If it's 30 outside during a day, you want to use cryo packs to cool down your box and keep that temperature steady. And even if it's colder outside, here we're in Canada, in the winter time, we have a policy. We don't ship anything from December to March. That's just to ensure that nothing happens, but we've done it in the past and the animals were still arriving and they were clocking in at temperatures around 24, 25 degrees with that type of setting with a heat pack. But to be careful, we avoid those, you know, very extreme weather, whether it's hot or cold. And you have to think about not only here, but if I'm in Quebec and I'm shipping my snake to BC, I want to be extremely cautious to look at the temperature over there as well. So if it's super cold there or a big heat wave, you want to avoid those times. Might as well just postpone that shipment to another week and find a moment where both places that the animal is going to leave and arrive are at a suitable weather. I'm just going to show you real quick what we do with a heat pack and how we place it, because most of the year we do need one. There's a couple months where we don't use them. We would use cryo packs sometimes or just avoid shipping. But with a heat pack, this is a 40 hours heat pack. You can use a 60 hour as well. So basically the way it goes, and just for the sake of the video, I'm going to show you how it's done. So basically you take the heat pack out of the plastic, you will remove that little pellicle here at the back. This is basically just a tape. And for a single snake like this, what we normally like to do is we're gonna fix that heat pack at the top of the container. So at the top of the box, sorry. So we would fix it there, put it right here, and we would tape all the edges, keeping that area exposed to oxygen, because this is the area which is going to get hot, and it only gets hot when it's in contact with oxygen. So if it's a day that's pretty cold, we want to open our heat packs a bit prior to shipping. So let's say 30 minutes to 45 minutes prior to shipping, so that heat pack gets a little bit of time to heat up before you actually close it, because when you close there's less oxygen, obviously, so it's gonna heat much slower. So we would just basically leave it like this and come back in 45 minutes and then seal the whole deal. If it's a box that has multiple animals, or it's actually a time of the year where it's even colder, what we would do, we would use, let's say, 2 heat packs inside of the box. So one we would put in the same egg crate, we put in the middle there, we close it like that, we would tape it all around, and we would insert it inside of the box in, let's say, one edge like this, put the snake there, and we put another egg crate here, and we could also put another heat pack on top of the lid, so that way the animal, you know, has a lot of heat coming inside of the box, but is not in direct contact with your snake. So the one thing you want to do here is basically, you know, that heat pack is not going to be directly touching the cup. The one thing you really want to avoid is doing something like this here, putting the bag at the bottom and the snake on top. You're basically gonna cook your animal, and it's not gonna be pretty when the customer is gonna open it. So that's another thing why we really like cups with a bag. If you ship your snake in a bag and you have some heat packs like this and the snake touches the heat pack, it has zero protection against it. But here with a cup, even if the animal is touching the heat pack, it's not going to be the same. There's air inside of that cup that's going to isolate the animal from that extreme heat from the heat pack. So that's another reason. Like, it's the cup, honestly, it's, I don't want to say it's idiot proof, but it's pretty idiot proof. You can basically screw up a lot of those steps and you will still ship more than fine with a cup. It's just that with a bag you need a bit more experience, and I feel like there's so many things that can go wrong, so that's why we only use cups. So basically we're just going to close that up and show you what we do after that. So basically we're just folding this like that and closing up our box, making sure that the paper is well placed. And here you go, we're gonna put our lid. Sometimes when it's very cold, we put another layer of insulation foam on top, and it's not gonna be in contact with the animal. There's enough air everywhere in the box because of that egg crate, the container, and another thing that we do, pierce this box. And this is gonna allow air to go inside of your box and keep that heat pack, if you have one, going with oxygen, so it was going to keep heating, and it's going to allow some air to go inside of the box. So we're going to pierce that right now. So we basically use a pen or any kind of tool you want, and we're going to pierce, and we're going to pierce both sides just like that. I always put my hand at the back because I can remove the little piece of styrofoam at the same time. So because it's very hot, we're going to pierce 4 holes on every single sides. There you go. And you place that back inside of your cardboard. Some international shippings, you are allowed to pierce that cardboard, so we basically just do the same thing. We pierce that on the side to create that airflow, which is really important. So now you have your box well insulated, the snake is well packed, it's not going to move around. It has some substrate if something bad happens, if the snake pees. This one isn't shed, maybe it's going to shed during the process. They do pee when they shed. So everything is set and secure. So now we basically just close it up and we would tape the top. And it gives me, thank you very much. We would tape the top there. Terrible noises, I'm very sorry for that. There you go. We basically just tape the top. And another thing about tape that I haven't said before is that I taped the lid of the cup on top of the actual snake. So basically you take your snake, put it in the cup, and I tape the 4 sides. It doesn't happen really often, but it happens sometimes that some animal gets out of their deli containers, and you don't want to have your snake running around loose inside of the box for obvious reasons. And one of them just simply being, you don't want your snake to go too close to that heat pack if there is one. That could be pretty dangerous. And if you reuse some of your old boxes, you could have some holes at the bottom and the snake gets loose. You really don't want that. You really want to avoid it. So when we ship a lot of animals, basically what we're going to do, we're just going to write down the name of our customer, and we're going to go on the FedEx account we have, print a label, put it on the top of the box, call a FedEx driver, they're going to pick up the snake, and we also will have everything sent to our customers in order for them to have the tracking number to know where they're going to be shipped. Most of the time what we do, we don't really like to ship directly to the customer's home. The main reason for that is because they can be left in the sun out. There's like a lot of things that can go wrong. So the way we do it, we like to ask our customers to go pick the box at their closest FedEx ship center, so their FedEx hub. And that will allow us to be sure that, well, we know when the animal is arriving at the FedEx hub, and we know when the customer gets to pick that box because FedEx gives us a notification about it. And if the box is inside the FedEx, in the winter, it's not going to be left outside. In the summer, it's not going to be left outside in the sun. So the box is very in safety, and the customer just goes, picks up the box, and then he takes care of the animal from that point on. So this is it, guys. That's basically how we ship our snakes. If you do anything differently, or you have any idea how we could improve our shipments, we're always all ears, and we love to hear your takes on that. Be sure to follow us on YouTube, Instagram, and check out our animals available on Morph Market. See you next week.